Hi, Tom, Thursday. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Susan. Nice to see you. Happy Thursday.
Thank you very much. I'm sort of dressing for the occasion. We're talking about art, so my arms are disappearing. But yeah, so
Looks
I'm wearing my arty jacket.
very arty and a very arty looking room behind you as well.
Yeah, I like to choose my. I think most people know it's a virtual background, but it's a lovely room, isn't it? Very.
Exactly. It looks like a creative space, even if it's not yours.
Absolutely. How's your day been, Tom? Okay.
Yeah, very good, thanks. Not very arty, but okay. All good.
Jolly good. Okay. Well,
I
I'm
was
going to
just
share.
looking at, sorry,
Sorry,
just a very quick thing to do with language, as you've
go
put in
for it.
there arty, which is a very good word. You can describe someone as arty or a person, a place as arty, or even a city or an area of a city. That's the art hub of a city. It's a very arty area. All you
Mm,
do there is you take the noun, the thing, like art, add the letter Y, and you immediately turn it into an adjective. And you can do that with hundreds of words: chocolate, chocolatey, cheese, cheesy,
that's true.
tomato, tomato, with basically all the weather elements. Everyone knows sun and sunny and wind and windy, and you
That's
can do it
true.
with all the food as well. So it's a little bit of a formula. Noun
It
plus Y makes the adjectives that describe the thing.
That's a really good tip because you can almost make words up. I was going to say on the fly, which is going on another expression, but that is very useful on the fly. I'll
As
leave
you
it
go along,
as you go
isn't
along.
it?
Yeah. Last moment.
Improvised, not prepared.
Yeah. Not
So
prepared. Yes.
so you
Yeah.
can, I mean, the noun and the Y, summary, you can say now the weather's changing in the UK. It's a bit autumny or
Wintery.
wintry,
Yeah.
summery, icy, snowy. There's you
All on the
can
fly.
guess with it really half the time, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can, and if you write it, you put it in inverted commas if you thought you were making up the word, but just add the Y to the noun, as you say, and
Easy solution.
a very, very easy solution. Well, I've got we're going to go on a visit, so
Good.
let me share my screen. Yeah, so Tom, what I've done, during lockdown, there were a lot more virtual tours, weren't there, available, or virtual experiences
Hmm.
for all sorts of things. So I've gone into the Royal Academy, which is a public website. So anyone can look this up, and obviously we'll pop the link in so that you can all go there yourselves and pick out a virtual tour. But I thought, if we can imagine that we are in this gallery now and we were walking down, I guess this would be this gallery. There's galleries and halls, and you'd stand in front of a painting, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at it and comment. So,
Yeah. As we were saying the other day, it's a very subjective thing, isn't it? Art.
yeah,
I can't say that I've ever understood modern art at all. I think for
no,
me, we're talking about definitions on Thursday. For me, if someone is an artist, I want to see something that I perhaps think I couldn't do myself, and I can't do very much. So I'm easily impressed by people that can use colours, like in these pictures here.
absolutely. And there's a huge use. I mean, this one was out of shot at the moment, but I moved it around, and there's a lot of movement here, isn't there? And it's not. Well, I don't know what the art terms are, but it's not like a photograph of a person, but you can feel the movement. And if you're listening and you can hear the hesitation in my voice, I don't know quite how to describe it. And that's okay, isn't it, Tom, when we're talking about things like this,
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, I've put in a question at the moment, what does it invoke in you? And
Mm,
it's a very, very common verb to evoke. It's like what it brings it out, it brings out of you, whether that's thought, makes you think, makes you reflect, makes you nostalgic, make you happy, sad, angry.
yeah, absolutely. Now I'm going to scroll down this screen and we should get to an actual virtual tour because that's a still. And
Mhm.
now I will be honest, I haven't seen this all the way through, but it looked really interesting. And I was interesting to see the work of a Kenyan born artist because I'm not familiar with his work. So I thought, this is great, something new.
I
So,
don't think I could tell you one Kenyan artist that I know of, so please.
uh, so actually, as I've enlarged it, we are not seeing the whole thing. So I'm just going to take it back because I think it's better to be able to see everything. We're not going to play it all, but let's just have a little look at this. It's the virtual tour of Michael Armitage. Can we hear the music, Tom? Okay.
I can't.
Okay, I'm just going to pause because there's a little on my recording. I should be able to hear the. Okay, you see, this is where I want to say faffing around. That's a really
It's a good one. I'll put that one in where you're doing that.
Yes, share computer sound. It's just rather ominous. I don't know if you can see on the screen, but I'm being asked to enter my password.
Oh dear. Too much of that about.
Absolutely. Let's see if this works. If it does, it's just music, which I guess, you know, whoever's put the music behind it, unless it's the artist, is making a comment on the painting. So here we go.
Hear it now.
There's no sound at the moment, but
There is to me.
oh, you can hear it, can you? That's good.
Mood music.
So here we've got information about him. So we're going to move it forward to see some of the work. But born in 1984, so quite a young man. And we're learning here that society, politics, and cultures in paintings. And you know, we've been saying, haven't we, that it's what we, when we go to a gallery or we look at art, it's what it means to us. But sometimes it is helpful to understand where the artist is coming from and what their background is. So
Political art as well. That's quite interesting because I don't think there's a lot of British political art that I know of.
no,
Maybe Lowry.
So if you're standing in a gallery, your eyes might be going down and looking at the painting in detail here. It's very expressive, that, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the sort of art with oils at its best, isn't it?
Yeah,
Where
so
you can
it
sort
must
of
be
do the
with oils. Yes,
contours and the
absolutely.
shading.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can, to me, I can see huge pain in this face.
Yeah.
Just going to skip it forward a bit. Just so that, I mean, I think if we're standing in a gallery, we'll be talking about textures, the
Textures, strokes, shading, contours. Wow.
we need to. I didn't see any figures when it first came up on the screen, but this is a painting.
Oh, I can now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gradually
very clever.
Showing things. Very, very clever. Absolutely. And you know, when you're talking about things like this, guys, you know, in conversations, it's not a matter whether we like something or not. Obviously, we can express that, but it is, you know, we're having this conversation, aren't we? Wow, I can see shapes, I can see figures. It's very, very clever, isn't it?
Yeah, so the top left, it looks like a rock and the man's got his face on it. I didn't only just caught that one.
Oh gosh.
I'm sure there's other ones that I can't see.
Yes, this was the first figure that I don't know if my mouse is showing. Is my mouse showing on the screen? This is the first one I saw. I sort of caught a face there. But again, you know, someone else might be saying, yeah, it might be clever, but I don't like it, or I don't think it's clever. And it's all opinion, isn't it?
Yeah.
But,
completely. That's why there's no right or wrong answer to it, is there?
No, absolutely. Oh, I see another figure here. It reminds me rather like those picture books that children have, where you gradually see more and more and more.
Yeah, depends how you're looking at it, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
No, I like this very much.
Yeah, we're learning something new. I certainly didn't know this artist, but
no.
Let's go on a bit. So these are all oil paintings we can see, can't we?
Yeah.
Yes, a phrase came to mind because I want to say sorry to skip through. That's a good expression. Is just skip through something.
That's it. I mean, everyone knows skip because of YouTube, don't they? But to skip through, to skip over, usually
Yeah,
with a preposition to make a phrasal verb.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm going through this quickly and I'm moving, as everyone can see, I'm moving the virtual tour along. It feels almost not respecting the art. So I feel that I should say, oh, sorry to skip over, so
Mm.
sorry to rush. And that's quite a useful phrase, isn't it? I'm just going to go back a little bit because I guess it'll draw out and show us yeah, these are
I
quite,
like that one.
yeah, quite harrowing. Oh gosh, it's called the genocide. So
Yeah.
art does speak to political situations.
And so it should, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's the dream landscape. That's the bigger view. Yeah, it's a dream. Yeah, dreams are muddled up, aren't they? So if I was standing in the gallery, I think I would be saying it just reminds me of a dream because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know what you would say, Tom, about that
Well,
one.
that's it. I mean, does art supposed to make sense? It's there, isn't it, to make us think? But
Yes,
then you think, well, should it make me think or should it impress me by the contours of it? You know,
abs
I mean, this particular picture doesn't impress me as much as the other ones I've seen. But
absolutely.
it's quite difficult to articulate with art why you like something and why you don't. It's quite internal, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. And as we look at this, I'm seeing some eyes here, and I think, yeah, in a dream I might have. To me, this is a cat. Maybe it's not what the artist was thinking when he
Mm.
painted it, but it doesn't matter, does it?
Or maybe he's called it the dream landscape for a completely different reason.
Yeah,
We've got no idea why he would have called it that, so it's our interpretation or second guessing what he says. But it
that's
doesn't really matter what he's called it, does it? It's sort of, you can call it whatever you want, whatever you
absolutely
think it is.
that's right.
I'd love to have, I think I'd love to have a decent print though. I think
Yeah,
that's something I might try and do in the next year or so,
I think that's
because I find it fascinating. If you've got something that you really love, I've got a boxing print at home and I
yeah.
look at it for hours, not at the same time,
No,
obviously,
but
but every time I walk past of it, you notice something different.
whether this is it, it's very, very true, isn't it? You do see something different every time. And it's nice, and again, the conversation have it's nice to have something that you really like in your
Yeah.
home. And again, as you get closer in a gallery, you'll be moving closer. You might be saying, let's move closer, or let's stand back, seeing different things. So I'm just going to move it along and take a last glimpse. I think there was another painting here. So I hope I've hit the right spot.
He's got a very distinct style, but none of the paintings are similar in any way, or is it me?
No, I agree with you. It's this is actually a different artist. But when we were going through Michael Armitage's work, they were very different, weren't they?
Yeah.
They're very, very different.
Yeah.
But you could sort of, even from an inexpert point of view, I could recognize that it was from his portfolio, let's say.
Mm.
Yeah, but very different. So this is this is actually a different artist here.
Wadu, yeah. I
Mm,
was always think with people that are talented that can produce this work when they know they've finished,
yeah.
because I don't think I'd be able to really know when is it finished. Is it finished because it's finished, or is it finished because you think it's finished?
Well, this is the question, isn't it? And we know historically artists have gone back and painted over their paintings,
Yeah,
done a completely new painting, or gone back and changed things. So it's a very good question.
and there's been
Um,
masterpieces that have been found because of under 2 other paintings that have been painted
Yeah,
over the top.
absolutely. Well, curiosity is getting the better of me, and I need to roll it forward a little bit more and see what else we've got here. But we will put the link. And a different artist altogether.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. That's interesting to me.
There's a lot in that, isn't there? An awful
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, that's a tortured mind.
Yeah. Yeah, so there we are.
Thanks for that. I'll look out for Vim Armitage.
Absolutely. Now I've got to get back to my screen. Ooh, this strange thing is happening with Zoom that happened before. It's
Don't worry.
no, those of you watching won't know that my screen was flipping around, but I managed to control it, I think. So yeah, that was virtual tours are really possible. I guess, if in business let's say someone was talking to a business colleague, or no, they got a Zoom with someone in, let's say, Holland or Glasgow, you could just do a virtual tour of their city to get an idea of their background.
Yeah.
It's basically a Google search, isn't it? And doing a
Yeah.
little bit of business research, but not so that we can talk about something in great detail, but just to be a little bit familiar of what's going on in their town. Just for one quick example, a friend from Scotland, Glasgow, told me there was a fantastic art gallery there. I didn't know that. Today I was talking to someone from Glasgow and I said, oh, I've heard there's a really lovely gallery there, and it opened up a conversation.
And it also opens up a conversation for the people that you're talking about. So I wouldn't have been able to tell you 10 minutes ago any artist from East Africa at all, but now I do.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
it's a starting point, isn't it? And you're starting the conversation on their terms. And if you are visiting their country or their city, whether it's business or pleasure, then it's always a good thing to get to start the conversation from their perspective.
Absolutely. And it shows a little bit of knowledge and ultimate respect, I suppose, that you've done a little bit of background research, or it's like paying a compliment, isn't it? Tell me a bit more about that gallery, your gallery in Glasgow. I mean, the lady this morning, she was so happy that I'd heard about her local art gallery, and it was just a simple way to say,
yeah,
and get things going. So yeah, that brings us to the end of Thursday, a bit of a whiz through that virtual tour, and we'd definitely put it in our group so that you can go and have a look yourself if it's of interest to you, or there's a whole list on the page. You can go down and look at other things if that's of interest to you.
And always look at the conversation starters, and always look at the language that myself and Susan use to start a conversation, to get it moving, to adapt to the other person, because that is natural.
Absolutely. And of course, in the group, you'll see the Facebook Lives either tomorrow, Friday, or before in the week, and just look at those, because we use the Facebook Lives to revisit what we've talked about in these topics and review the language, and put those questions in. And if you want to join us on the Facebook Live, just put in a request. We'll start to ask people to join us for sure.
And definitely, we've got so much content from dozens and dozens of different subjects that we've discussed, not because we're experts in it, but just because we're speaking in a natural way, becoming conversationalists, discussing a subject, starting the conversation, continuing it, finishing it in a natural way, which is a difficult skill to have, I think, when you speak in a second language.
Absolutely. And to be honest, not everybody is good at it in their own language, so
no,
you're doing amazing things talking a second language, and you'll get, as Tom said, getting some really, really good conversation skills, which are transferable in any language. And if you're already good at conversation, well, all you have to do is just have a few fillers, a few starters, and you can run with it. You can have that conversation.
Definitely, but that doesn't mean that you can't ask any questions about language, pronunciation, grammar, exams, please. So the Q&A session, anything you want to know, as we've always said here, the only silly question is the one you don't ask.
Absolutely. And please do ask, anything. As we said, pop it in a message, put it in the group, whichever way you're most comfortable to ask your question. You can always send one of us a voice message. We will pick it up. Okie dokie. So that brings us to the end of Thursday. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will see you in the group tomorrow for the Q&A on Friday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.